Hi, welcome to the Family Project. If you're ready to share your family story and turn it into some kind of heirloom, a kind of piece of treasure for the people who come after you by doing a very simple creative project, you're in the right place. This is our third video and I think you're going to love it. But if you haven't watched the first two, I think you should stop right now and go and watch them first, because I really want you to get the full value from all three together. So this video is about how to start conversations with your family members. And that's something that people ask me about a lot. People wonder, how can I have a conversation about something that's painful or difficult? Other people say, how can I start the conversation with older members of the family without it seeming as if I'm preparing for their death? Still other people might say to me, I just no idea where to start. One of the people I spoke to was the writer and adventurer Joe Simpson. And Joe was really keen to talk to his father about his father's adventures in Burma during the Second World War, and he had all of the stuff ready to talk to him. He had maps, he had diaries, but for years on end he kept postponing it, not doing it, until too late. And Joe told me afterwards how much he regretted not starting those conversations. You don't need to make the same mistake. I'm John Paul Flintoff, and this is my wife Harriet Green, and between us we have helped literally thousands of people to tell their family stories. Now you may be wondering, where is Harriet? So who are you with the voice?
I'm Harriet, I'm behind the camera.
Okay, like the editor figure that you are.
Exactly.
And so am I like the face?
You're the sort of fool in front of the camera.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So this confirms that Harriet Green is also involved in this. So to help you understand what you might do to go about launching into those conversations, I want to introduce you to my brilliant friend Roman Krasnarek. He's the founder of the Empathy Museum and the author of some great books, and he's also done his own family project stretching over a large number of years, and I'm going to let him tell you about it.
Well, I think the way I did it with my dad is a big project, and I would never expect most people to do that. I mean, 7 years is a long time. I spent months transcribing the interviews. I learned a lot about my dad thinking about him. And it was only in the 4th year that he really opened up. He started talking about how his mother had tried to commit suicide, and he would tie her down with rope onto a chair to stop her jumping out a window. He started talking about how when my mum died when I was 10, how he handled that and how upset he was by the way that other people in the family accused him of getting my mother the wrong treatment, and this led to her death. And he cried in front of me, and I cried in front of him for the first time. And I think what was important about that was partly it was very bonding, and it was really an important part of our relationship. But I think it's also interesting that it made me realize that this kind of process of trying to understand your own family, it isn't a bundle of laughs all the time. I mean, it can be quite up and down. It can be quite emotionally draining. But that's just part of it, like it's part of life. And actually, we cried together that day, but we laughed together that day. And neither of us have ever forgotten that moment. We don't talk about it all the time. This is slightly different. I also interviewed my mother-in-law about her life, which is a very different thing. My mother-in-law doesn't really particularly like talking about her past. She doesn't find it very easy. She's not a particularly emotionally open person. And one day for Christmas, one year, my Christmas present to her was, I just wrote on the card, I will interview you for half an hour about your childhood. And she opened the card and laughed, and she thought it would be wonderful, because it wasn't very intimidating, that idea of just someone chatting to you about your childhood for half an hour. So a month later, we sat down and I recorded her. It wasn't a very ambitious project, literally over a cup of tea, chatting for half an hour. We ended up speaking for a bit longer, maybe for an hour. I turned off the tape recorder and then I gave it to her, the recording. And the extraordinary thing was this. I felt that the conversation was not particularly deep. I later found out that my mother-in-law used to play this recording in the car to herself as she was driving over and over again, and it used to bring tears to her eyes every single time. So I don't know how I did it, or she did it, but we tapped into something for her. But it wasn't a very intimidating process or experience for her. We started really small, and in fact, thinking about it now, we probably could have gone on further, but I haven't in that case. But that little half hour or 45 minutes or an hour, it was great, it was easy, and she got something really valuable about it. And also it connected us too, and that's always nice, connecting with your mother-in-law. She shared her story with me, and even though she was sharing things that she's probably told other people, she hasn't really done it all in one go. Someone actually sits and listens to you talk about your life for half an hour or more. And it's quite an intimate thing to do. You're making yourself quite vulnerable, even if the stories aren't particularly showing you as a vulnerable person or in a bad light or a good light or whatever it happens to be. And it's like a secret between two people. It's this little conversational connection, a little bit of mutual understanding. She appreciates the fact that I was interested in her, because people want to feel understood, and they want to feel that people care about them and their lives. Everyone's an expert on their own experience. Everybody's life is interesting and important, and it was a wonderful thing, and it's like a gift that they give to you, but also you're giving them a gift, because you're giving that space where they can tell their story, because it's the stories we tell about who we are and how we become who we are which make us who we are. We are our stories, the narratives we tell ourselves.
So as you can see, when you have the kind of conversations that Roman had, you can feel incredibly well connected to your family, and that on its own is a really wonderful thing. But I want to tell you that you can go even further with that, because once you've done that, you've created something. Roman talked about the recording, the audio recording that he created, and that for many people is enough. But I just want to share with you some other ideas that you might want to take and develop so that you can turn your recording into something even bigger. Now, one of the things that anyone can do now very easily is record something and have it transcribed, and you could turn that into some kind of a book. Or you might want to be a little bit more creative. You might want to turn it into some kind of script and perform it in the holidays with your family. You might want to create a comic. I've done that in the past, where I've taken a family story and worked with an illustrator to turn their story into an illustrated kind of mini graphic novel. One woman I've worked with had the brilliant idea of updating the old tradition of telling a story through letters, and she's telling her family story to one relative in a series of emails over time. And the wonderful thing about that project is the relative who receives these things can come back to her and ask for more detail about the things that are most interesting. So it's a really dynamic exercise. But the end result, when they have this long series of emails between the two of them, that will be their family heirloom, their family story. And you might want to do the same. It's been a huge pleasure and a privilege to share these ideas and see some of the excitement that's been generated. That's why we decided to create this workshop, because we passionately believe that the more families get together to do this kind of creative exercise and get a little bit more bonded and connected, the better. Even one is a huge win for us. We've been getting great comments and emails, and we love the sense of community that's been created by this series. And it seems as if these free videos have given people a lot of ideas, and maybe it has helped you. If you're interested in taking this further, we've created an advanced training for a small group of people who we can work with more hands-on. The next video is all about transformation. I'm going to be sharing ideas for you to start those conversations around topics that are enjoyable and easy for anyone to answer. I'm going to describe a little bit more about what we have in mind in our hands-on course. And also I'm going to be answering a lot of the questions. We've received some brilliant questions from you about who this work is for, and does it work for you if you're in an unconventional, non-traditional family. If you are divorced, we can find a way to show you how to make the family project work in your situation. But there's a problem. I can't tell you when the launch video is available unless I know where to find you. If you look on the page down below, you'll see a button, and when you click on the button, it will ask you for your email address. Now, I just need to say, it should go without saying, but I hope you understand that we don't sell your email address, and we won't be sending you lots of spam. And of course, if you lose interest, you can always unsubscribe. No hard feelings. So please, look down below this video and click the button, and when it's ready, I will send you the last video. In the meantime, we would love to know what you intend to do with the ideas that we've shared. So please leave a comment and share this video with your friends and family so you can really motivate each other to get started. But most importantly, please leave a comment down below. We read them all and respond to as many as we can. And we can't wait to read what you have to say. Till next time.